everybody, welcome to a Cricut craft tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful winter shadow box. And you only need a few items to do it, and it's pretty cost effective. I got a 9x9 shadow box from Michaels on sale. They were buy one, get two free. I got some table scatter, which included the snowflakes on the back for $2.49 from AC Moore. I'm using a light gray vinyl that I got from 651vinyl.com, and that is a 5-foot roll for $2.95. And then all I used was a piece of white cardstock, which you can get at any of your local craft stores. Let's get over to Design Space because I'm going to show you how to use one of the free SVG websites. We've measured the space that we have to work with on our frame because while it says it's 9x9, that's its total size, not the size you actually see. So I like to start with a template. So I'll make a square, and I know that it's going to only be 8.5 by 8.5. So we'll just put 8.5 up here, and it'll make it the right size to what we're working with. Now I'm going to show you guys one of my favorite websites if you're going to use an SVG and you want a free one is Love SVG. So let's just go to Love SVG and spell it correctly. And this website's really cute. They have a lot of really, really cute SVGs that you can work with. And the great thing is you can search them by what you want to use. So I want Let It Snow. So I'm just going to search the word snow and see if I find anything that's kind of what I'm looking for. Now, so far, that's probably it, this one right here. But I'll scroll through for a second and just see if there's anything else that maybe pops up that I might prefer better. But I think that's probably the winner. Now you notice that there's all sorts of really cute designs. These are free, but you cannot sell them. So keep that in mind unless you pay for the commercial license, which sometimes you can on these. It just depends, which one it is. So I think I like that one, or this one's really cute too. Now these you could easily design yourself, but I'm just going to show you a quick way if you guys are just trying to make something really cute and easy and quick. So let's use this one. So click on your design that you want. So we want this falling snow design. You're going to scroll down. You'll see where it's got, it always brings up this. You can sign in, but you don't have to. You're going to click on this big pink circle and see this is right down here where it says for personal use only. So just make sure that you are following that. This is a personal product for me, so I'm just going to keep it. So you want to make sure that you are downloading your SVG. So what you want to do is download the zip file, and it's going to open, for me, it always comes down here. So I can just open it directly from here once it's done downloading. It usually just takes a second, and then it'll open the file folder, which is zipped. So open your other zipped folder, and you're going to find this one, Falling Snow SVG. You'll note that it is a Chrome HTML document. I don't know why it does that. It just does. But we need to go ahead, and what we're going to do is up here for me, it says extract. Some people's are different, but for me, mine is extract up here. I'm going to extract it to my Cricut folder. And then I can close this. I don't need it anymore. I don't need this website anymore. We're going to go to upload and upload image and browse. And we're going to find it in our Cricut folder. So we're going to go to Cricut, and we know that it was called Falling Snow something. So just go into your F, and you'll find eventually where you'll see Falling Snow. Again, it does show as a Chrome file, but don't worry about that because when you load it into your Design Space, it loads fine. So go ahead, save that. This is super easy to do from Love SVG. There's not a whole lot to it. For me, though, for my design, I already have a bunch of snowflakes and things that will be in the back of that box. So I don't want any of the little snowflakes. There's a couple ways you can get rid of them. You can click Ungroup, and you can physically delete each one if you don't want it. So see, it'll let you select them. Or you can go over here and just click the eyeball, and it makes them go away. For me, I just like to get rid of them because then my Layers tab is a little less full. It's just a personal preference thing, but for me, I just prefer to just go through, delete everything, and then I don't have all these little dots that I have to make sure are gone. Oops, and don't click the wrong thing. And you just can click and get rid of all the dots. All I'm doing is clicking and hitting delete on my keyboard, and that's just getting rid of them. And then I'll take the snow that I got rid of there, and I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. As you can see, it makes my design here just a little bit easier to see. Now, right here we have the falling part and then snow, and here is our square. So we'll select this whole thing, And for this, I'm just going to go ahead and move it on over into our space, and we're going to resize it. Now for mine, like I said, I'm going to have some snowflakes and stuff and some filler at the bottom. So I don't want to cover the filler too much, but I do want it to cover it a little bit, and we can resize this to make it as big as we want to make it to fill our 8.5 by 8.5 size. I think that's a pretty good size. So we don't need this anymore, and we can go ahead and get rid of that. So let's click Make It, and I'm going to show you what it did. I did this on purpose because I wanted you guys to see this. I'll get this problem a lot, especially with Love SVG. It got my F and my dot for my I completely out of order. Annoying, and a lot of people just say, oh, forget it, and just cut it that way. But you don't need to. We're going to go ahead and click Cancel, and we're going to go back, and what we're going to do is select our entire design, and all you're going to do is click Attach. What that does is it holds all of your pieces, so your dot, your F, it holds everything in that same space. It'll keep the snow lined up right where you want it as well. So now you click Make It, and it's going to cut it exactly how we have it laid out right here. Perfect, easy to do, very, very simple. Let's go over to the machine. I'm going to cut this, and then we can apply it, insert our filler, put our background together. This is going to be a really cute piece when we are finished. So we're going to try a little something different. We are going to use this adhesive spray. I got this at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to spray it onto a piece of white paper that I cut to fit on the inside of our shadow box. And then we're going to take these glitter snowflakes, and we are going to put them on our sheet of cardstock, and then I'm going to take some of the glitter, the loose glitter from the bag that the snowflakes came in, and we're going to spray it, like, you know, shake it on the sheet. We'll see if this works. This is called experimentation. So I'm pretty sure I have to shake this. Adhesive spray, extra strength, blah, 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 will not swell. This does say shake well before use, protect surrounding area from overspray. I used some freezer paper. This is permanent. It does dry clear. It says fast tack, photo safe, dry clear, dries permanent, acid free. So it's good, safe for, you know, scrapbooking and stuff. So we're just going to, now I'm probably going to end up getting this on my finger because I have to hold the paper down. We're going to just make sure we get a decent coating because these are glitter. And we're just going to, oh, it smells. That is a pleasant smell, folks. So, like I said, all I'm going to do is just take these snowflakes, and I'm probably going to shake them a little bit over this just to get some of the loose glitter off, because we're going to use some of that loose glitter on our design. Now, remember, we're going to have some table scatter, it's what it's called, but we're going to have some scatter stuff on the bottom, so we don't have to worry too much about putting any of our snowflakes or our glitter towards the bottom. And then there is a little lip around the edge, so just make sure that you are aware of that. Now, we may end up having to use a little hot melt glue on this. They don't feel like they're sticking very well, but I could just be crazy. And it's okay if some of the table scatter is going to cover up the snowflake. I'm not really super worried about it. This doesn't have to be perfect. And this one's got a lot of loose glitter, so we'll just use some of that. And we'll just stick him right there. And like I said, I'm going to take some of the glitter because there's just, it is like a glitter mayhem coming out of this bag. So what I'm going to do is try, oops, not to get any of the balls to fall out, but to take some of the crazy glitter and take some of that extra junk that's coming out of this bag. Because let me tell you, trying to open this bag was like an adventure all in its own. And we're just going to take some of that and shake it onto our paper, thus making a glittery cardstock. So we're going to let this dry for a while. I am going to move it a little bit on this freezer paper just to make sure that it doesn't stick, and I am going to wipe my hands off. So I'm just going to kind of slide it on this freezer paper. Just want to make sure that it doesn't stick to the freezer paper. It doesn't look like it's going to. We do have a little bit of a run from some of the, I may have sprayed a little thick in one spot. If these don't stick for whatever reason, I will go back and just use some hot melt glue to hold those on. But hopefully this works. So we're going to let this dry. Once it's dry, we can put it in the shadow box, and then we'll be able to put the table scatter in, put the vinyl on, and it will be all done. I weeded the vinyl, and I then cleaned this with alcohol. And I see there's 2 little spots of glitter that have found their way onto that. So let's just wipe those off. So I don't have any of the backing on yet because it's still drying, but I wanted to put this on first. So I originally was thinking I'd put it straight, but I just didn't like that. So I think I'm actually going to put it on at an angle. Now I am just using dollar store contact paper for this one. I've been using the medium tack from 651 vinyl for a lot of my projects, but this was kind of big and I had this big extra piece, so I just figured I would use it. So all I'm going to do is just lay it down nice and smooth and not try to get any wrinkles in it. Now because the glass isn't sitting flat on something, I'm going to be very careful when pressing on this because you can crack your glass. And like I said, I decided not to do this one in a straight line. I just thought it'd be more fun at an angle. So we're going to do an angle. And like I said, just don't press too hard because you want to make sure that you're not going to crack the glass because you can. And then you're just going to lightly run over all of your letters and then grab a corner. Any corner will do you. I guess I'll start down here because that one kind of got stuck under the edge. And you're just going to gently pull your contact paper or transfer tape, whichever you're using, back. And then you're just going to, the glass is going to lift a little bit, but just keep pulling slowly. And it should stick. Now this is a permanent vinyl. This is 651. I don't remember the exact color of it. It is the lighter gray of the grays, though. You can come through and just sort of make sure you got out any bubbles. If you see any, you can smooth them out. And remember, a lot of the bubbles will go away as it sits. And you can also do a little bit, you don't want to put like an iron on it or anything, but if you add just a little bit of warmth from your like hair dryer, it does tend to get the bubbles out, but don't use too much because you can actually damage your adhesive for your vinyl. So you just want to just gently work those bubbles out. I usually don't have too many. I've got just a couple along the edges here because I didn't press super hard. So we'll just go through and just wipe them out, and you just press them out gently. You don't want to press too hard without anything protecting your vinyl because you can scratch it. But I think that got most of them out. There's a few bubbles over here. Most of these will work their way out, but we'll let them work their way out on their own because they're pretty small, so they'll come out. And a lot of these bubbles you won't even notice once it's up on the wall and once you have all of your filler in and your backing. The backing is still drying. I have a feeling it's going to take a little longer than I thought to dry. I don't think our thingy tells us how long. Nope, not a clue. Doesn't tell us, so we will just let that dry, and then we can put this in, and we will be all set. So we're ready to put the table scatter, and you guys are going to hear a bunch of like sounds because I have it in a plastic bag because it was getting glitter all over my house, and Lord Jesus, pray with me. So it is just silver and blue little styrofoamy balls. I don't know how else to describe them, but they're just, you can see, they're just like really light and airy and feeling. And I don't really care if the glitter kind of gets all over the glass inside because it's glitter on the back too, so it'll look pretty cool. So that's kind of why I'm just tossing them in. And then we're just gonna try to fit it best we can and see how many it's gonna take. I don't want it really, really full, but I know it's going to be like a kind of a deep, it's going to have to be about too deep to get it. So I'm just going to dust my hands off and let me get the back because we're going to just lay the back on it. I'm going to show you guys real quick how you can see how your table scatter is filling. So what I do is I just lay my back down, and I might need to squeeze it a little bit. Make sure you're holding it nice and tight, and then you're just going to take it and shake it. And I think actually that's probably a decent amount, and sometimes you may need to, what you can do is tap it a little bit to fill in some of these holes if you've got like some big gaps, which I have a few. So I'm going to just flip it back over. I'm going to open it up, and if you see like right here where I have a gap, I'm just going to drop a ball right there, and that should cover that gap up. It does. It covers it nicely. Now, you can always add more, take out, whatever you want to do, however you want yours to look. So, and you can always move them around, shake them around, whatever, you know, however you want your piece to look. So we're going to put in the backing piece now. It's pretty dry. I ended up hot melt gluing the snowflakes to it because, oops, because they were just not sticking with the adhesive spray. So I just glued them to it and it just seemed to work better. Now, this may actually need a little dab of glue to hold it to this, but we're going to try it without the glue. So we'll just set it in. And now a lot of times what will happen, the table scatter will hold it, so we don't have to worry too much about it sliding. If it does, we will just glue it, and it's no big deal. And make sure that when you're putting this, on the back on, that you have it facing the right direction. Now, I can see there's way too much table scatter in here now. I am going to go ahead and remove some of it. That's, you know, kind of the game you play with these, is you just sort of have to figure out about how much you want in there, and then you can always go back and take some out if it's too much. Again, this gets glitter all over the entire world, so just a warning, if you use this, be prepared with a vacuum. I have now found glitter on my dog. I have found it on the floor. It is in many, many places that it was never before. So I'm just going to remove a bunch of it because I kind of didn't want it like super full. I wanted it just enough to kind of cover the bottom and not to hide the snowflakes. So make sure when you put this down that you're putting the snowflakes in the way you want them. Of course, I didn't really, oh, and we lost a man. Man down. That's okay. This one I did not hot melt glue, and my glue gun should still be warm enough for me to hot melt glue him. I didn't hot melt glue him because he felt like he was stuck really well, so we'll just hot melt glue him back down. No big deal. That's the thing. A lot of these times, you just have to kind of play with stuff and see what works. Sometimes stuff works great. What works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. So crafting is a science, as I always say. That, I think that much better. Okay, now we're looking good. So now we're just going to tap it a little bit, and we have our beautiful sign. Let me get you guys in a better position to see this, and I will show you it all finished. And don't forget to make sure that you clamp these down, and they're down really well, or you're going to end up with table scatter and glitter all over your house. So here's our finished product. The beauty with this is it does not weigh a ton, because those are just styrofoam. So it only weighs maybe another couple of ounces from what it weighed before we put all the stuff in it. And that's one thing you need to think about when making your shadow boxes, is the weight that you're putting in them. If you put too much weight, they won't hang on the wall very well, but you could always put them on a tabletop. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel by hitting that big red box. Hit that bell icon, that'll let you know when I post a new video. I hope you guys had a great time, have a wonderful day, and happy crafting.